Hello, everyone. We are now live. This is the Authortube virtual retreat, and this is the panel on author platform building. So what we've done with this panel is we've kind of got people who have platforms like across social media, because there's so much social media nowadays. And the point isn't to convince you guys you need all these different social media platforms. It's to kind of show you the advantages of each and different audiences that you can reach on each platform. And also to answer any questions you guys might have about how to market yourself as an author or market your books online. So I'm not, probably as we go along, I'll probably be like putting the comments up on the screen, but we might not respond to like every single comment. But it's so awesome to see that so many people are already here.
Wow.
Yay!
Yay.
So if you don't know, I'm author Angela Ann. I'm a young adult contemporary writer, and I'm mainly present on TikTok and Instagram, and then sometimes on YouTube. So I don't know if everyone else wants to introduce yourselves.
Yes, I'm Holly Davis. You can find me at Write Holly Davis on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So I'm on almost all of them. But I write YA and middle grade fantasy, hoping to be traditionally published. I like to post a lot of writing advice and like motivation because that's my jam.
Hi guys, my name is Melissa Hope, and I'm the author of the upcoming middle grade fantasy adventure called Sea of Kings, which is coming out in April this 2021. And I'm also on YouTube giving writing tips there, and on Instagram and Twitter, and that will be under the name Hopeful Happenings.
Howdy Howlers, I'm Sako Toomey, also known as Cass Voight. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine these three things. I am usually findable at all corners of the internet under either Psycho Sako or Sako Toomey. Yeah, I'm not on Reddit, and I think that's it. I think I'm on everything else. I'll be talking about Facebook today.
Awesome. I am Sarah Lebrat. I write science fiction and fantasy, young adult and new adult. I think we're still trying to figure that one out. And I can be found mostly on Instagram at Sarah Lebrat Writes and YouTube at Sarah Lebrat.
Awesome. Yeah. And these people are all super amazing. It's kind of ironic. I was looking at the description, and I think I just put everyone's YouTubes, and I should have probably put more links. If you go to their YouTube pages, you should be able to find all of their other links.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I would honestly encourage you guys, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but whenever I hear social media advice from people, I always check out their social media page to make sure that I actually resonate with their branding and how they're presenting themselves online.
Absolutely.
So I would definitely recommend doing that anytime anyone gives you social media advice, to be honest.
Not just social media advice, but there are a lot of employers that will go looking for your Facebook, for your Instagram, so be very cautious about what is public about you on social media, depending on your goals, of course.
Yes.
I always think about that because I'm Gen Z, and I'm like, when Gen Z starts running for political office, it'll be so funny what comes out about us online.
Right? Exactly.
True.
Otherwise,
people
we're going to
go
end
back
up
throughout the years.
Yeah, no kidding. And not just that, but we're going to end up with politicians like the cheetah in office. Like, he is on Twitter spouting ridiculous things constantly. There are groups that are solely dedicated to keeping up with his Twitter. That is all they do. So I have the impression that he's setting a precedent, no pun intended, that that this will be a thing we have to watch out for in the future. Absolutely.
Yeah. I also think it's a really cool tool as writers, and as if you want to do like anything, authorpreneur term, whatever term you want to use to call yourself, it's a really good tool to create your personal brand. So kind of how we have this, I honestly forget. I don't think I explained how we have this set up yet. But each person's going to kind of give a little spiel about a certain social media platform and kind of who you can target on that platform. And then kind of some quick tips of how to use that platform really well. And then we're going to just open it up to questions. We also have some pre-taken questions, I guess, from our Instagrams. But yeah, so I don't know, Holly, do you want to start with Twitter?
Sure, I'll start. And I wore this blue, it's actually a NaNoWriMo shirt, but it's blue because it's blue for Twitter. So I'm like, hey, this is perfect. And I forget which panel we were talking about Twitter yesterday, but oh gosh, people have a love-hate relationship with Twitter. So this is actually my biggest platform, which surprised me when I was looking, because I have a little over 3,000 followers. And Instagram is my next one with like almost 2,100. So it's a stark difference. But I feel like I've been on there long enough that I see the benefits of it and ways to like avoid the cons. So with Twitter, there's like, if you're not on Twitter, I'd say that you're like missing a huge like reader and writer community. Because literally like everyone's on there. There are readers, booktubers, even like book clubs, book boxes, so many things where like you can reach out to for marketing, whether you're traditional or indie published. There's tons of agents and agencies on there and editors, and that's all important for like looking to see, do you want to work with these people? Is this going to be a good fit for you? What are their beliefs? Does that align with yours? So that's a really good place to see that. And then even just like other broader aspects too, like artists, if you're looking for like book cover designers or people to do your character art. So there's just like so much that you can find on Twitter that you might not necessarily find them on the other platforms, or they might be posting different things. There's also a lot of good support for indie authors. So that's a really cool thing. And there's like a hashtag called Writers Lift, and what's it called? Self-Promo Saturday. So there's like lots of ways for you to get your book out there, or get any, if you're an authorpreneur, like other materials out there as well. I have a lot of things, so I'm going to try to go through these quickly because I know it'll take a while. So, but there's just so many good things about Twitter. You can stay in the loop with current like pub news, whether that's good or bad, but you can see like what books are selling, because a lot of people post like, hey, like my book's coming out. This is the publishing deal I got. And so you can see like what types of books are selling, to try to look for, not like you necessarily want to write for the market, but you can see what type of books are being sold. Other things, you can find new authors to support. So I know some people say like, oh, you have to show your book to someone like 7 times or whatever before they like buy it, because like every time they kind of consider it a little bit more. And so with Twitter, like you can post as many times as you want. It's a very like fast-paced platform, so it's like totally okay to post multiple times a day, where that's different for other platforms. But then again, it's like if you post something in the morning, a lot of people in the evening might not even see it. So that's why it's kind of like a constant moving thing. But I know for me, I have bought so many books and followed so many authors because I found them on Twitter, and I would not have found them on Instagram. They're not on YouTube. I wouldn't have looked for them on Facebook. I wouldn't have found them on Goodreads. So like I found them on Twitter. I bought their book. So it's a very powerful platform for that. Other things, am I going too fast? Is this okay? Sorry.
No, you're totally good. I do wonder, so as someone who's very confused whenever I go on Twitter, and I saw some comments about that too, what type of things do you recommend people post? Because I go on Twitter and I'm like, I look at the like box and I'm like, I don't even know what to write. It has to be something witty.
Yeah. So like so I kind of have like my spiel about Twitter, and then I have like the 3 tips, but one of the tips was to find that balance between posting original content So like tweeting your own thing and then retweeting other people's tweets that you like or agree with or that you're excited about. So I try to find a balance between that. I find that I retweet things a lot more than I actually tweet things, because I'm just like, oh, this person said something that's really funny, or they're sharing this. And so you want to like, you can really share anything. You can share your Instagram post. So like on Instagram, you can have it post automatically to Twitter. And then from there, people can find your Instagram. So that's a kind of good way to do that. You can also do that for your YouTube video, promoting other people's work, and also finding a balance between, which is the same for all platforms, kind of finding a balance between your writerly content and like real life stuff. So some people are even just like, oh my God, I waited in line at the post office and then they closed right before me, or, you know, something like that. But then like people can relate to that too, or, you know, posting about like a movie, you know, something like non-writerly related. And then people are like, oh my gosh, they're so cool. Like they like anime too. Like I'm following them. And then also like a lot of people like hearing about like your writer struggles too, because then that's very relatable. And it's not just all like the happy sunshine. So that's one of the things about Twitter is like people are very real on there and like kind of speak their mind, but like you can be open on there because you're going to find support and people are going to connect with you. So hopefully that makes sense. And also like pictures and videos do well too, GIFs, that catches people's eye if they're scrolling through the feed. So hopefully that answered that question.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. Okay, more fun things. Let's see. Oh, and so here, so it definitely, if you're going the traditional publishing route, there are so many like giveaways. Like if you follow and retweet this, you know, you can be entered in a giveaway for like chapter or like query critiques. There's so many mentorship programs or ways to try to pitch to agents. So, you know, hashtags are the biggest thing. That's another tip I have, is to like use hashtags to catch people's eye and people search for them, kind of similar to Instagram, like hashtag am writing, hashtag writing community or writers community. And then there's obviously the like mentorship or pitching hashtags such as hashtag pitmad, SSF Pit, DV Pit, where you can just like write your pitch, and if an agent likes it, then you can send them, you know, your submission materials and essentially query them, kind of like push through the slush pile to be first. And a lot of people have found agents that way. So it's cool to see too on Twitter, you have seen people who have found success with that. And if they didn't have that, you know, who knows if it would have taken even longer for them if they just went the normal querying route. And then there's also lots of like weekly writer chats to connect with people, make friends. So that's another way too, if like you don't know if, you know, you don't have a lot of writer friends that you're connecting with, or you want to find beta readers, like the writer chats are really good too.
Yeah.
And then, oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say really quick, I saw some people in the comments are putting their Twitter names, which I think is super cool. So when we're going through these platforms, if you guys want to put your usernames, we can all follow each other.
That's amazing.
Awesome. Yes, I will follow people. That's so much fun. The other cool thing too is that, you know, Twitter, like I said before, Twitter is a platform where like you can market your work, and it's okay to like. Twitter is one of the places where it's like you can naturally promote yourself, like because everyone's doing it. And so like you can reach people faster, and you can reach a lot more people because it's not just your profile that and your tweet that people are seeing, but if people are retweeting it, quote tweeting it, then you're going to be reaching an even wider audience that way. So it's not just your followers, but their followers too. So kind of like an Instagram stories thing, like you can reach more people.
Awesome.
And then I think I just have, let me see. Okay, so I have two more things. The last one is to use your Twitter bio / profile and like your banner to your advantage. So you want to keep it short and sweet, but you can use hashtags in your bio, and that's searchable, not because Instagram it's not. And then you can include links to your like social media platforms. You can pin a tweet. So that's the first tweet that people see on your profile. And that can have like something that really catches people's eye that's motivational, or have a link that has a link to all of your social media platforms. Your banner can have info about your book. So I wanted to say what my Twitter bio says. I just have YA/MG fantasy writer, hashtag writer tip twos, co-creator, which is a hashtag that my sister and I do every Tuesday, at diversity is lit book club host, biracial, my kids have fur, and then I have a picture of a cat. And then writing advice, I link to my YouTube video, and then there's a separate link space that you can have for a link. So I snuck and I have 2 links because I had enough space in my bio for my YouTube video, and then I also have a link to all of my other links as well. So that's just like a quick way where like I say a little bit about my writing things, a little bit about my real life, and then I can kind of promote the things that I'm a part of. But so I know, like I said, like Twitter can be pretty, people say Twitter is toxic, which it can be, but it can bring out the worst in people, but you don't have to be a part of that drama. So just like any platform,
any social media is like that. Yeah.
Just like any platform, like take a hiatus if you need to. You know, you don't have to comment and respond to anything, but you obviously should, you know, be careful what content you're putting out there, because your beliefs might not be someone else's beliefs, but then you're able to see, okay, this person doesn't align with me, I'm gonna unfollow them. But you just don't want to get sucked into the drama, because like cancel culture is real. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's for Twitter.
Melissa, do you want to give an overview of Instagram?
Sure. I wanted to say though, before I get into Instagram, is that for Twitter, I actually found my agent and my publishing deal through Twitter.
Oh.
So it can really be good. Like mostly in those contests, it was like a Twitter pitch contest. Those are really good. I think a lot more people are participating now, so it's maybe harder, like odds wise, but still is a possibility. And you should never assume that you won't make it. You should always try.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thanks.
The worst that can happen is they can say, you know, nothing or no.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You just get no likes.
Okay, so for Instagram, I feel like people probably know what Instagram is, but just to recap, it's a photo, video sharing social networking service, and Life Marketing calls it like the best social media platform for engagement. That's why I really like it, because I feel like it has an amazing ability for you to connect directly with your followers on a very personal level. And then through that, you can build a brand and ultimately sell your product, which hopefully will be a book in the future or maybe now. So the people that use Instagram are usually younger, like they're usually, I've found that they're usually women or women between the ages of 18 and 35. And so that for me works really well, because number one tip, before you even create your Instagram account for your author platform, you should first figure out who your target audience is. And once you know who your target audience is, that determines exactly what your content will be. So for me, for example, I write children's books. I usually write middle grade and young adult, but I've even started to dabble in picture books. And so Instagram is a great platform for me, because a lot of the people on there are women who have kids, or who are teachers, or who are librarians. So that works really well for me. And since I had a question on Instagram about multiple platforms or how to deal with that. If you know who your audience is, then you can decide what kind of content you want to do. So if I write children's books, then I should have probably one account. and I can target that audience. But if I was writing picture books and like erotic fantasy, then I don't want to have one account because those audiences are too different. So I'd probably make 2 separate accounts for those different audiences. So another tip that I have is to post quality content. I don't know if that's like so obvious, but I actually have a video on my Authortube channel that gives you ideas of like what to post, like what kind of things to post. But basically, you should think of it like this. What do I have to offer my target audience? What kind of service can I give to them? Because then you can really understand who you're talking to and create things that would help them. So for some people, that could be author writing tips or publishing tips. That could be sharing your personal journey and just blogging about how you're becoming a writer, because that's really helpful for people too. And you can connect with people who are going through the same thing. Maybe you want to help people be accountable, so you're helping people with writing sprints and getting their books done. And then also, like, hopefully you'll have a product to eventually give them an offer. So that book that you're writing or have already written too. Number 3 tip for Instagram would be to post consistently. It doesn't really matter how frequently you post. It just has to be consistent. It has to be reliable. And that's extremely important to the growth of your Instagram. You just can so easily be forgotten because, you know, people scroll through and then it's done. So you just want to continually show up in their newsfeed and show them that you're still there. I wouldn't go less than once a week though. Like once a week is, I would say, minimum. I used to do Instagram every single day, but I've backed off and done it like every other day now. But when I did it every day, I had like faster growth. So it's what you can do consistently is what I would suggest. And then I have 2 more tips. I hope I'm not taking too long.
No, you're good.
Okay, so hashtags. People were asking about hashtags on my Instagram. Hashtags are like very important. Holly was saying hashtags are important on Twitter. They're also important on Instagram. That's how people find you a lot of the time. And you should be posting them in your actual posts and then also in your stories too. So every single time you post an Instagram story, you should be using hashtags, and you can have a maximum of 30 hashtags. You should be using all 30 every single time you post. For stories, what I usually do is I have all my 30 hashtags, and then I just shrink it really tiny and hide it on the side, because then nobody has to see it, but it will still like register. And
SEO and all of that jazz, right?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, stories, you can be found everywhere. Make sure that your profile also is not private, because then people can't like look at your profile. So you should have a public profile and be using those hashtags to get people involved and change up your hashtags. I usually post, I have like a ton of hashtags that I like to use that are really good for the community I have. And then I will keep it in a document on my phone or my computer so that I can paste it in, and then I'll just change it based on what I'm actually posting that day. But it just kind of helps me, so I don't have to write 30 hashtags every single time. I have it kind of pre-made. And then if you're looking for like what kind of hashtags to post, I would just go look at who you love to follow, like what authors you love to follow, or what bookstagrammers you love to follow, and just see what they're posting for their hashtags, and just, you know, take some of theirs and just think about what you search when you're looking for someone. What do you search? Writing community is like a really popular one, but there's tons. Just kind of create your collage of hashtags and then see how that works. And my last tip would be to collaborate if you can. I think some people may be a little nervous to do it, but it is really helpful to collaborate with other authors or other bookstagrammers on Instagram, because you can not only help each other out with followers, but you can also meet people and become friends with people that way. And so, like, I would try to find people that are first have similar target audiences, because that will really just benefit you. If you try to collaborate with someone that has a different target audience, it doesn't really help you at all. And then also someone who has similar number of followers too is a good idea. That's where you can start and then build up from there. So yeah, those are my 5 tips.
I love that. I think Sarah and I are actually going to be doing an Instagram collab soon.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's a good tip. And also Melissa's videos. You guys should definitely check out her videos on Instagram.
Definitely.
They're
Yeah.
so good.
Oh, thanks. I have a couple more random ideas, but should I maybe wait to see if people have questions about it later?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait.
Sarah or Sako, which one of you guys wants to go next?
Sure, I'll do it. So I'll be talking about Facebook. When I originally joined in 2008 during the recession solely to do freelance work. That was my only goal, was to get work. And the goals kind of shifted a little bit. I was originally told that women ages 30 to 50 would be all you'd find on Facebook, but here's the thing, that's total bull. Your niche has a market, whatever the gender, culture, age group, whatever, you just have to do the footwork. Facebook is probably the most intensive of the social media outlets, as it requires the most of your attention. So if you're in, go all in. But if you can't be but the thing is, you can't be a fair weather user and market on Facebook. You have to be on it all the time. So there are 3 categories to pay attention to within Facebook. There's your personal profile, an author page, and an author group. So things have changed a lot over the last 5 years, and I'm going to go over some of those changes now. Personal accounts, as a note, they top out at 5,000 followers. So I recommend making this actually private and limiting it to like a special club, basically. Friends, family, that people you've met in person, that sort of thing. So even then, you want to be careful about who you let on as a follower. I only add people who I've had a 10-minute conversation with, and up until the quarantine, it was limited to people I'd had these conversations with in person. Holly turned into a cat. Personal accounts. Let's see. Now we look at author page. The algorithm hates pages, but you need a page that makes your author stuff accessible no matter what. People are going to expect to find you on Facebook, and it's best to have an author page that they can stumble on. So when they search for like author Cass Voigt, they're going to find the author page immediately. Because they may not know that Cass Voigt is also known as Authortube. Authortube is like my art and creativity stuff, which is I'm Psycho Sako Studios on Facebook. So the downside is the algorithm expects you to pay for ads to spread your posts, despite having a following. So people can be subscribed to your page, but if you don't personally share your own posts on your personal account, no one's going to see it, which is kind of messed up. Once upon a time, these purchased views were actually bots and Chinese gold farmers, and not genuine views or likes or subs. This has changed, and now your ads are actually reaching real people, if not spamming your posts repeatedly to the same 5 people. I've been accused of spamming even though I paid $2 for an ad. So be cautious about who your target audience is when you're doing these ads. Lastly, and most importantly, make your author group. So groups now do what pages used to do, and it actually notifies people when there's an update, and the goal is conversation. It's interaction, it's engagement. So make the group public and make it easy to find. Sorry, I was distracted.
No, I just scrolled through the comments.
Yeah. You can make events, go live events, and rooms are super useful, super great for engagement. I recommend having specific days for specific kinds of posts, like self-promotion usually it's Sunday on Facebook, self-promotion Sunday. But self-promotion Saturday, I don't think people would bat an eye. Therapy Thursdays, sometimes other things for other days, right? I recommend having specific days for specific kinds of posts, not just from you, but your group members as well. So it's kind of like a rule in the group. Hey, limit your self-promo to self-promo Sunday. Stuff like that. That's a really common practice in groups. No matter which sort of category you're posting to, make posts that move, i.e. like videos or animations or something like that, and have a call to action. So if you're super introverted, you can automate things on social media and your website to post on Facebook for you. I recommend a thing like Buffer or Wimkin, apparently, where you can queue up your posts and have them post at certain times a day, certain days of the week. Obviously, much like Melissa said, no less than once a week, no more than twice a day, I would recommend. The algorithm is weird, so your stuff might be seen, it might not. So just to be sure, I would post twice a day. The more consistent you post, and consistency is key, the more consistently you post, the faster you're going to grow. Be honest about how you present yourself. People who curate how genuine they are, like, oh no, I have normal people problems just like everyone else, even though they couldn't possibly relate. That is problematic. Try not to do that. But be honest about who you are, and be honest about what you do and how you do it and what you do outside of your writing. People want to relate to you. They want to see you as not just an author, but also as a friend, an associate. And think about the idea that followers want to know what you can do for them, not the other way around. So your posts need to add value to their lives in some manner. The most efficient way of growing an audience and interaction on your Facebook page would be to be honest, make your pages as public as you can, have a street team that will share your content, and to how to use it if you have nothing published. Again, be honest. So show your journey on your way from like outline and concept all the way out to publication, however you intend on doing that. do be honest about where you're coming from and how you're going about what you're doing so that people can be inspired by you. That is, I could probably answer questions or anything like that when we get around to it.
Awesome. That's great. Sarah, do you want to go over YouTube?
Sure. So I'm Sarah Lebrat talking about YouTube today. A couple of the major things that you need to do for YouTube, Melissa and Sako have already touched on, so they seem to be a trend. But one of the most important things on YouTube is consistency, and that's posting at the same time every week. It is suggested that you post no less than once a week, but even if you can't do that and you can post once a month, as long as you're honest about that in your videos and your subscribers know, that's totally fine. But it's also important to post at roughly the same time every week. So if you choose like Tuesdays at 10 a.m., try to always make your videos go up on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Of course, there are exceptions, but the majority should be going up then. In addition to consistency in posting times, consistent thumbnails and titles are really important so that when your subscribers see it, and kind of a branding thing for when new people start to see your content, it's important that they know that it's yours. That just helps build a rapport. Another thing with consistency is that YouTube can take a very long time to grow, as can all social media platforms. But the important thing is to not try it for 2 weeks and then give up because you haven't gained many subscribers. YouTube is for sure a long game, and so you want to make sure you don't give up on it. When you post, it's important to post evergreen content, meaning that you post videos that aren't necessarily about today, even though that's totally fine. A lot of daily vloggers and stuff do that, but in a way that it's easy to go back and watch. So when it's suggested to somebody in a year or two from now, they still want to click on it and watch it because any one of your videos can be suggested to anybody at any point in time, no matter if it's been up for 2 days or 2 years.
Yeah.
And something that Sako touched on was adding value, even if it's entertainment to the people watching. Adding value is extremely important because people are taking time out of their day to either on Facebook read or watch whatever you've posted. On YouTube, watch what you posted, which could be sometimes a 20-minute video. It's important that they feel in exchange for their time, they're getting something in return, even if it's just relaxing, enjoying whatever you posted, or if you post writing tips or something, that they feel they're learning something. And my third tip is engaging with the community. Authortube, CreatorTube, people on YouTube who read the same stuff as you, there's a community there. You want to make sure that you are engaging with them through responding to comments left on your videos, watching and commenting on other people's videos. You can do live streams like this. And I know a lot of people do live write-ins where everybody comes on and writes together. And those are really important in growing your community and getting closer and making friends with people. And it also makes it feel like you're giving something in return for that person's time and you're engaging, and it feels more like a friendship than you're trying to brand yourself. Another thing that helps with engaging with the community, like Melissa said, is working with other people and doing collabs. And it's also important to use all of the options that YouTube gives you. And so doing live streams, posting videos regularly, posting videos as premieres. And when you do that, you want to make sure that you are live when it's happening and make sure that you're commenting and chatting with the people that show up for the premiere. And even using the community tab when you get to 1,000 subscribers to either post about videos that you have put up, ask questions, set up polls and everything. Just YouTube, a lot of these social media platforms have set up very good ways for you to interact with others. And it's important to try and use all of them because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Those are my tips.
Awesome. I really want to plug really quick too. Sarah has an amazing video she did on like how to master the Instagram algorithm. It's like 30 minutes long, and you're going to want like a notebook next to you to just take notes because it's so informative.
Thank you.
La la la, taking notes.
Yeah, honestly, take notes on what these girls have said in this too, because this is an amazing, amazing advice. So I guess I'll go over TikTok really quick. TikTok is the youngest, and the youngest in two ways, I would say. So it is obviously the youngest, like it just came out, I think in 2019 or 2018. So it's a very young app, which means that right now, every app, every social media site has that period where it's easier to grow before it's oversaturated. So TikTok is still in that period. So it's really great to be in, like right now, to establish yourself while it's young. The second thing I will say is the audience is very young. So I have seen some like millennials and Gen X on TikTok, but we're mostly going to be targeting, I would say honestly, 12-year-olds to 24-year-olds. So if I can make a bold statement, I think if right now you are sitting here and you want to write young adult books or even middle grade books, you should be going and making a TikTok like yesterday, because that is where the young people are hanging out, to the extent that when there was a potential of it being banned in the US, I posted, I was like, go follow me on Instagram. I'm going to start posting book content there. Here's my Instagram. And I had some of my followers commenting and saying, ew, I don't want to go on Instagram. That's for old people. This is what the young people are. They're very anti everything else. So, and I'm not going to say like every high schooler is like that, but at least what I've seen is a lot of high schoolers and middle schoolers see TikTok as like, that's their space. So it is a really great place to connect with people. And as Leah's saying here in the comment, it is, the algorithm on TikTok is amazing because it's so young. It will churn your content out to more people. So how the TikTok algorithm works is that it sends every single video out to 10 people. It uses facial recognition software, which sounds creepy, but honestly, all social media probably has access to your camera. And it sees if your face, like if you're entertained while watching it, if you're not entertained. And it also shows how fast you swipe. So if when you're swiping, you like swipe through videos on TikTok. So if you swipe faster, that's bad for that video. So if your face looks entertained and you're not swiping, that video then gets sent out to 10 other people who TikTok has said is similar to you. So it's almost like a tree of people. And so like, let's say 2 out of 10 people, that first initial 10 liked it. Then it gets sent out to 20 more people. And that's kind of how TikTok grows. So with TikTok, the type of content you want to create, especially because it is for younger audiences, one, I would definitely be careful of like what you're wearing, what you say, just because it is a younger audience. But also you want to make it really flashy. You have 15 seconds to capture their attention. So there's no, hi, welcome back to my channel. Like, no, you get right into the meat of it. And it's a very hard art. It's kind of like Twitter, I think, in this way. Like you only have so much space and you have to use that space. And so you have to like make sure that you're just getting right to the point. So like, for example, book talk is more popular, I think, than writers on TikTok. So like you want to be like, books that made me cry. Here's the first book, hold it up. Here's the second book, hold it up. Like that's what you have room for. The other thing I will say about TikTok, and this is kind of getting into Instagram here, Melissa, but Instagram Reels just released, and everything you should be making, I would recommend reposting onto Instagram Reels, because I have gotten a decent amount of new followers recently from Instagram Reels, and honestly, like followers who I've been talking to in the DMs and have like genuine friendships with now. So I really think that that's a really great way to meet people also on Instagram. But when it comes to TikTok, it's a very new platform. You just got to get out there, be silly, make it fast, and know the audience is young. So I guess we can start going into questions. So write your questions down. I did see one that was an interesting question. I have to get back to it. It was not like a different platform I'd never heard of before. Something called Dreamkin.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either, but I'm wondering if it's something like Buffer, where you can curate your social media.
Okay.
Maybe.
And then I'm going to start going through the comments really quick. Sarah's video was amazing. Yeah. So do you recommend starting new social media accounts to find your target audience or revamp the ones you have for that same purpose?
For Facebook, either way. Because you can submit for a new name if the name thing bothers you. But I can I already have the platform regarding my art. And now now that I have their attention, I can be like, oh, hey, I also write books. And so you can have multiple pages and multiple groups within Facebook under one account. So it's very easy to have your cake and eat it too. Like you can kind of pull a little bit from everywhere. I know, like for instance, Instagram, you're better off making a whole new account if you're going to do that sort of thing. But with Facebook, I think you can just change direction. I did it with YouTube, and it's easy to do it with Facebook once you already have your audience.
I think it also depends on what you've already done, because a lot of times if you have like a personal Instagram account and you just have family on there and then now you want to start making it into a business, I don't think it'd be a bad idea to just start making it your business, because what you'll find is people who don't want to see the content will drop off, and people who want to see it will follow. So like it will just transition, for at least for Instagram. That's how I started out. I actually started out with personal and then did some more research and then changed into a business, and people just kind of dropped off and followed based on what I posted.
Yeah, I started off as a photographer on Instagram, which by the way is like top key. If you are a photographer and you want to excel in photography, both to become a better photographer and also gain a following, Instagram is totally where you want to be. Absolutely. And once I did a 365 project, which is to take a photo once a day, every day for a year, and of anything, freaking anything. And I decided on iPhoneography because I couldn't knock it if I didn't try it. And being that consistent was a huge deal. And then I was like, okay, well, people are obviously interested in art. If they are interested in art, I can possibly show them my illustration. So I started making an illustration blog, kind of like changed direction. And I still do that, right? So illustration with the occasional like glimpse into my life. But it's okay to change direction in an account that you already have, be it whatever social media you have. But sometimes it's okay to start from scratch.
I think for YouTube, you can just start making slightly different content as long as it's not a complete 180, because that would confuse your current subscribers, but there's no reason why you can't make several kinds of videos.
I think on TikTok you would probably see a dip in views right away, just because it would be churning out like book talk content, for example. If you want to change to writer content, but I think you would recover. The algorithm would like adjust and figure out, especially through your hashtags that you use, who you're trying to target.
Mm-hmm. I know for me, for Twitter, I just made a new one, but that was before I knew anything. So I was like, I'm just going to make a new one.
So then we have another question for Authortube and TikTok. Any advice for figuring out the memes or the trends?
Hashtags. Like hashtag meme or hashtag, you can go to what's my meme? What's your meme? Or what's my meme? Oh God, what's the name of the site? There basically there are sites dedicated to what a meme is, and you can kind of like dive into that meme with whatever hashtag that the urban tale gives you.
For TikTok, you have to watch a lot of the For You page. Just keep watching, and trends on TikTok go across platforms. So like right now, it's really popular. It's too popular. It's very annoying. It's like you got to start romanticizing your life, or you got to stop romanticizing your life with heart music. And then they say like, why? Like, there's one that's really funny. It's like, you got to stop romanticizing your life. Just because you have an iced coffee of your laptop open doesn't mean you're actually being productive. And being productive isn't the same thing. But people will like take that sound and then like take it for their own things. I saw one that was like, you got to stop posting about your pictures on your Bookstagram and TikTok instead of actually reading. Put down the phone, go and open up a book. So it will last for like a week. So if you're gonna do it, you need to do it like right then and there. Whereas I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Authortube trends usually last a couple of months before.
Yeah, it looks like this question is asking more specifically for the author community on TikTok. Because I feel like trends on YouTube are less apparent unless it's like the tag videos and I feel like tag videos is the largest trend that happens.
Yeah. Oh, and is there a secret word? Yeah, it's 12:52. I should probably give the secret word for the giveaway. So the secret word, I'll type it in the comments too. But it's brouhaha. It's one of my favorite words. It just means like a social frenzy, which I guess kind of relates to social media too.
That's funny.
Make your social media brouhaha.
You spell it differently than I do.
Oh, huh.
That's cool. That's cool though.
I know Kaylin's not taking off for the spelling when she does the giveaway, but
right. She's not spell checking. She's not spell checking secret words. Yeah.
For those of you who maybe are just following my channel or following one of their channels and saw this and don't know about the retreat, every session has a secret word, and then you write them down, and that helps you enter the giveaway. And I have a link to the website for the virtual retreat, and that's where you can find more information about that. Someone asked, what kind of writing content do you do on TikTok? I do no writing content on TikTok. Because the audience is younger, I tried to do a couple of writing videos and they flopped. I think Instagram Reels would be a really cool place. I've seen some cool Instagram Reels about writing content, but TikTok, because it's younger, they tend to like to see reading content. They want books to read. I mean, there are high schoolers who write books, but I feel like the majority of high schoolers are more reading books instead of writing books. So there's definitely more than dance videos though. Like I do videos where I'm like holding up books or videos where I like just make a joke about books to the screen. If you want more, I feel like when someone asks something, you like blank on the answer. But if you want more, you can either look at my Instagram or my TikTok because I repost all my TikToks on Instagram Reels. And those accounts I think are always in the description of my videos maybe, but that's what I would recommend. It's really an open platform. It's way more than dance videos. Whatever you want to make, if you can fit it in 15 seconds to a minute, like you can make it. And majority of the time, like it doesn't even have to be high quality. It can be you talking to the camera and people will still like it if your content is good.
I love your videos. It's fun.
You just have to be willing to be silly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Patreon?
They are literally patrons. So they are expecting to fund content. I strongly recommend, if you are not consistent, to go by post as opposed to by month. That way your patrons aren't feeling ripped off. But be honest, be candid, show your sketches, show your process, you can siphon all your social media into one place on Patreon. So like all your TikToks, all your Instagram photos / videos, all your YouTubes, like just bring them into Patreon so that your patrons can see everything that you do.
And then what does one even share on Instagram? I know Melissa has a video on this. So
photos and art, like that's pretty much that. I'm also a calligrapher, so I have nice handwriting, and I do handwriting analysis. So I can go on Instagram or I can go on TikTok and be like, this is how you write in cursive, or this is how you write in black letter, or this is what this means, and this is what that means, and
Yeah. So since we're talking today about building an author platform, so your Instagram should be related to that. So, like I said before, you can figure out what feels comfortable for you, but figure out how you can serve your target audience somehow. You can be giving writing tips, publishing tips. You can be sharing your personal journey writing, like being accountable, helping other people be accountable, sharing inspiration and motivation, just like anything that you feel would serve a purpose to your target audience. That's the kind of content you want to create for them. And then you can adjust it based on how they respond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like on Instagram stories, sometimes it's a good place you can show little snippets of your life too, so that they can kind of get to know you as a person. So like I posted my friend made mini muffins for brunch this morning. And so like I posted that because I was like, they're so cute. So like things like that, but I wouldn't post that in your feed.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, for sure. The feed should be like consistent with like your goals as a business. Like think of yourself as business because you want to be an author and you want to sell books. But the stories is where you can be silly and random and do whatever.
Instagram is they should be able to go to your main profile and see your consistency, see that you're serious about the subject that you are trying to market. And if they can see that this is totally an illustrator, or this is totally an author, I should totally watch them because they do author things. And if this is what they've done in the past, this is what I can expect from them in the future.
I think it totally helps too to like across all the platforms, like look and see the people that you're following, the people that you're seeing are successful, and like what are they posting, what are they doing, and like if you're interested in doing that same thing.
You would be really surprised at what kind of people you can not only make contact with, but become associates with, become friends with, become competitions with. It can't hurt to ask. It can't hurt to like pop up and say hi, or to comment on their stuff, and the more consistent you are in making contact with them, the more likely you are in keeping contact.
Yeah, and Sacco brought up a good point. Like it doesn't hurt to ask. Mm-hmm. So if you feel like you're struggling with what to post next, and think this applies to YouTube as well, just ask them, hey, what would you like to see next from me? Or give them options. Which one do you want to see first, or whatever. Yeah. That will help you. If you've been making publishing tips and people are wanting you to do earlier stuff like how to write a first draft, then you can adjust.
Yeah. Instagram is probably the best place to ask and to engage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you got polls on there and questionnaires, and yeah, works really well.
Awesome. I think it's at 1 p.m. so I wish But I think we're gonna have to end, and make sure to go check. I'm pretty sure I put the link to the playlist, so go check to see what you want to do next. But thank you all so much for joining us and for coming to the virtual retreat. As one time for another intro, but all these people are linked down below. They're all amazing. So definitely go and subscribe to them and check them out on the other platforms.